Hey guys, welcome back to Open It and Play. This is Mike, and today we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends Giant Man figure. So the Giant Man figure was released in kind of a strange way. It was a $199.99 figure, if I remember right, $200 about, and it was kind of like a made-to-order figure. So Marvel Legends, Hasbro Marvel Legends decided not to do a HasLab, and instead they did this kind of made-to-order figure. But um, if you don't know much about Giant Man is Hank Pym, and Hank Pym is actually Ant-Man. Sorry, he's not going to focus because it's the evening here, and I can never get my camera to focus when I need it to. But anyway, Ant-Man is the first identity that Hank Pym takes, and not too long after, he changes his mind about how to use his Pym particles, and he decides to become Giant Man as his heroic persona. But Hank Pym is supposed to suffer from kind of a lack of confidence. It's kind of one of his defining character traits, and he's always unsure about himself, and he's trying to sort of correct what he thinks are his own mistakes, which are more often than not a mistake. It's just his insecurity gets the best of him. But I don't know how well you can see the top of the box if I do this, but we'll try it, and we'll see if we can get it to focus on the top of the box. Top of the box looks like that, and the bottom of the box looks like that. So if you didn't order the Hank Pym figure, or the Giant Man figure I should say, you can get Giant Man in a smaller size, but this is a regular Marvel Legends size, but it's a nice companion piece to go with this one. So without further ado, let's try to get this guy out of the box. So this is going to be kind of a strange review because I've never done this before. Kind of too big of a figure, but we're going at it sort of like the Robo Skull. I opened it at the top. Usually I open my figures at the bottom, but this guy is just too heavy. If you open him at the bottom, the tape is not going to be there to keep him inside. Okay, and his box is kind of heavy duty, so it's not the easiest figure to get out. After you get him out a little bit, you have a little more leverage to be able to get this bigger box out. So, wow, but he is a big guy. Okay, that's sort of what he looks like in his, what you'd almost call like a coffin. But for this, we've got these kind of protective parts. This head kind of made an indentation, and another protective part that's kind of the foot indentions. So I think they designed the box well to protect the figure. Okay, and I have opened this guy before because I wanted to know what I'm dealing with before I do the review. So I'm going to try to keep it together, but it'll be similar to if you were opening this figure on your own. Okay, he does come in this plastic wrap. It's kind of hard to get it in the same position that it was in the factory, so okay, put that to the side. It has some safety information on it, but we're gonna move his ankles up. You can hear those ankles are ratcheted, so unlike the Sentinel, he does hold his pose well, and he's kind of standing too tall, so you're not going to be able to see him there. We'll move this box off to the side. No, actually, we'll get everything out. We have the alternate head with alternate eyes, alternate head with alternate eyes. We have the zombie face with alternate eyes, obviously, too. And, well, not obviously, but, and his antenna that he comes with. And we also have this little bit here from inside the box And this part is to show how to deal with the figure's details. So I'll try to zoom in on this real quick. So this one is explaining how to mess with his head, how to attach his antenna, what they look like, and how it fits on, the head fits onto the neck joint, and as well as how to open it. We're going to take a look at that soon, how to change the faceplate and how to change the eyes, and then how to return it, sort of. So no, sorry, that's supposed to be how to take it off. But yeah, it's kind of a simple guide thing, but and then you have your usual legalese, kind of like documents about the company and safety information. So okay, we'll put that to the side, and I'm going to try to get this guy where you can see him, hopefully. If you can't see him, I'm so sorry. We're going to try to correct that. All right. This is what he looks like. And maybe we'll even move this back just slightly so you can get the whole figure in view. Okay. He is a very big guy, so this is really hard to do this review. Okay. I've locked the focus, so hopefully it will be in focus as I do this. So you can see the figure. He's got this kind of strap that goes from inside of his waist around his shoulders and back. Okay, you can see the textures and the detail, hopefully. I'm going to move his ankle in because I think he'll stand just a little bit flatter that way. There we go. Okay. Yeah, so we'll look at his articulation maybe right off the bat. So it's kind of easy to imagine how this figure can move. So we've got a neck that can look up like that. You can actually pop off his head very easily because it just rests on there. But can look up like that. It can look forward and it can look down. And it also has the ratcheted neck joint, so you can have him move his head to the sides and everything. Okay, and because he kind of looks odd without his antenna, maybe we'll put on his antenna from this bag. I have opened this too, but we have 3 sets of antenna, so we're going to see that. The first set is simply black, and those go with this smaller figure's design, so we're going to keep it with the black antenna for today. The alternate antenna I'll show you shortly, but let's start with these. Okay, okay. All right, now he's loaded up with his antenna on him. The alternate antenna, we have white antenna, and we also have these kind of gnarly ones. I'll zoom in on these so you can see them close up. I hope I can get my camera to focus. Let's see if we can get it to focus. Okay, so these are the white antenna. I think if you're a hardcore Hank Pym fan, you might buy an extra of this figure and paint them white. But I didn't do that, though. I am a Hank Pym fan. But okay, and these are the zombified ones to go with the zombie head. So they're a bit gnarly looking. They've got some damage on them, some scuff marks or little tatters or rips. And this one kind of looks like ripped through quite well, quite intensely. Okay, and those do go with the zombie head. We'll put that on so we can see what it looks like later. But as for now, let's go back to the other accessories real quick. I forgot what I'm doing. I gotta do the accessories first. Okay, an alternate head sculpt. This is the angry looking to the side sculpt. And unfortunately, these giant mans did come kind of defective. So they came with eyes looking sort of up and to the left. And this eye has the same set of, sorry, this figure's face has the same set of eyes. If I bring his head forth, You can see he's kind of looking up to the side. So it's a shame that they had such a mistake, but I think there was a printing error with the eyes. But fortunately, they did kind of rectify that problem. Mine, unfortunately, has another defect, so this is the scariest of the alternate faces, the face plates and eyes. This one is, it looks like nightmare fuel. He's supposed to be looking down and smiling, but his smile is super scary. I wish they would have went with a more normal, natural smile instead of this kind of jokery looking smile. But mine, unfortunately, there is some problem. There's some paint on the outside portion of this plastic. The actual paint for the eyes is inside, but mine has a little bit of paint on the outside here. And when I tried to wipe it off, it just blurred the paint, so now his eye looks unclear. So I may be able to get it off, but I can't tell yet. It's kind of shocking that I have that problem, but the good thing is I have another giant man in America now, and eventually I'll bring it to Japan. But right now, these are my faces that I have. But with this giant man, we do have the other alternate face. You know what? This was a HasLab. I was thinking it wasn't a HasLab, but it is a HasLab because there was a restriction on what we could get. If we had more backers, we were going to get a scroll head. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's actually a HasLab. So, but yeah, this guy, you can see he's got this really gnarly face. It's pretty grotesque. So he's got a giant hole missing from his nose, or a giant chunk missing from his nose, I should say. Okay, and the thing that I was going to say, they did try to rectify it by giving us the correct eyes later, and since I bought 2 giant men, then I do have 2 sets of forward-looking eyes. Okay, let's take a look just for an example what the forward-looking eyes look like. And I'll use that opportunity to show you how to take off his face plate. Okay, so he does look like this. I'm going to see if I can get just a little more light in here. I don't think this is going to help, but we'll see if it helps. Does it help? Probably not. But anyways, what you do is you put your hand here and you unbuckle these 2 parts. Put your hand on the bridge of his nose and you peel back. It's supposed to be kind of like peeling a piece of fruit, they say. And it comes off pretty smooth because of the rounded nature of the head. And then after that, you've got his head out. And to change the faceplate, we just pop this off. You can see the eyes are stuck in there, which is quite spooky. But let's give him a forward-looking piece. Let's see if I can get this on here correctly. I would recommend being very careful when you do this, because I do think this part will show wear and tear with time. So you may have trouble keeping it in one piece in the future if it becomes loose, or God forbid, part of this plastic becomes brittle and cracks. So most people are not going to be changing the face too much, but since I have an extra, I'm going to make him into an Ultimo for my Iron Man display. That's the main goal for my Giant Man figure, this one in particular. But I do have the extra head because I'll be free sculpting the Ultimo head, I think. So, but anyway, we'll see another look. Let's take off that scary face's eyes, and we'll put those The scary face's eyes, they're like the looking down eyes. So this is what he looks like with those on. So, it's pretty darn frightening, right? It's a little too realistic. But man, the lighting in here is getting terrible. But we're gonna keep this one on. No, sorry, we're not. We're gonna see what the zombie sculpt looks like, but we'll do it very fast. It's actually my first time to put the zombie sculpt on. Okay, this is how it looks, and we'll replace it. We put this part, the brow, just under this part of the mask, and then you kind of push it in. Okay, and then you pop these back on. Pop and pop. Okay, so that is our zombie head. My goodness, he looks pretty gross, right? I'll put him on here for maximum effect. Okay, and we'll try to focus on him. Okay, that lighting looks a little bit better, but my goodness, that's a scary face. Okay, yeah, so I'm not going to keep that on because it's just, it's so grotesque. We're going to pop this back off, pull this back out, and switch his head to something a little less frightening. How about the angry, straight on look? Make him look directly forward. But he does look angry. Sorry, can't see it from that because I've got to focus on the back. Okay. Okay, there he is. I think I prefer this to the zombie one, definitely. Though he is still pretty spooky looking. Okay. All right. There we go. Got him standing up straight. Okay, we're going to go through the articulation now because we've looked at most of these accessories and stuff. For his articulation, we saw how far he could look up and down and around, but we'll do that one more time. Looking up, looking forward, looking down, okay, and looking around. So for example, down and around, kind of like that, up and to the side. There we go, up and to the side. Okay, and this part floats very freely, so that part's not too bad. It's not going to interrupt your articulation much. There are some limitations, I think, but he does have a butterfly joint, and his butterfly joint, try to pose him using his butterfly joint to its maximum effect. His butterfly joint will get you kind of like that. Is that clear? Hopefully clear. I'll try to make it a little bit brighter. Hopefully that's not too bright, but yeah. And then his butterfly joint will go back this far. So it goes back a decent amount. If he opposed his arm out, it goes really far back. So okay, and then he does have kind of a typical Marvel Legends shoulder. It'll get you up that high, so it's pretty good range. And he does have the usual bicep joint. I should say this is ratcheted, as you can hear, but this one is not ratcheted, but it does move nice and stiff. Okay, and he's got double jointed elbows. They will get you that about that far. Oh, one more click. Okay, I'll get you really far forward. But the thing that I'm gonna have limitations on showing today is his hand articulation, because I don't have a hair dryer or a heat gun here or even hot water. But his wrist will go out like that and in like that. Okay, but as far as his fingers go, the thumb thumb part here works very well, but with this part, I can get this one to work, but the big one is really stiff, so I actually need the heat gun to be able to move that. I'm going to try with this finger. It's a little bit scary. This one seems to bend okay, but yeah, some of them are really stubborn. They don't want to bend, and I would warn you not to try pushing it at all if you have this figure. You probably obviously know because this figure is 2 years old, but it is very something to be very careful with. So, but we can pose it up pretty nicely into a fist, though the fist does have a few gaps in it, but I think it looks quite believable and the size looks quite good. As he is now, his hand is quite large, but it's not the largest I've ever seen, but it is pretty large. So I don't think that the hand is probably very realistic for the size, but you can get away with it with a comic book character at least. But hey guys. But anyways, I'm sorry I can't show you the articulation on this part. That's kind of a major bummer. I would love to be able to show that, but okay. Maybe another video in the future. But I think you guys have lots of resources online to be able to check that for other reviewers. So we're going to try one more time to go through the articulation. Sorry, I'm worried about the focus as the room feels like it's getting darker and darker. Okay, his diaphragm joint, it will go really well to the side to side. Wow, even further than I thought. So that far. Looks like it might even go further this way. Okay, and then back will be this far. Forward about there, that far. Okay, and then he does have, is it an inverted ab crunch? I can't really tell. I think it's an inverted ab crunch, but with his ab crunch, oh, it really clicks hard. It'll click forward 2 clicks that far, and it'll click back. It's hard to do. Okay, it'll go back like that. So if you combine the two, you can get a pretty good range out of it. It may go even further, but that's the way it feels at least. Or I don't want to push it too much. If I have totally warm conditions, I'll push it more. But okay, and his hips, his joints are so hard to move. The hip will kick up that far, so it's quite good for such a big guy, I think. He will go, he'll go down, he'll go down like that, and he'll go to the side. That far? I think it's about that far. Yeah, and that is ratcheted too. As far as back, he doesn't really go back. That's about as far as it goes. Okay. And he does have a thigh cut. It goes at the seam, so that's good. And he does have double jointed pinless, everything's pinless because this guy's enormously big, but double jointed pinless knees that will get you back that far. That should be the maximum. There we go, that's the maximum. There was one tiny last ratchet in there, so. Okay. And as far as his ankles and boots, he does not have boot cut, but his ankles do hinge nicely. They go back that far, and they go forward this far, and he does have the toe articulation also, and then he does have ankle pivot. I don't know exactly how effective it is, but it does feel nice and stiff, so it may work to hold the pose. Okay, we'll use that ankle pivot, and I think I gotta correct this by 1. There we go. Okay, so let's get a few comparisons and then we'll get going. This guy, is the small version of him. If you can see that. Hopefully you can see it. I think you can see it okay. I'll try to move this up just a little bit. There's my Avengers picture, but anyway. Whoa. Sorry. Recombobulate. It's really out of... Oops. There we go. Looks like you're watching the Batman 60s show. It's really off. There he is next to his smallest giant man that I have in Japan. And we'll get him alongside his wife, now ex-wife, Janet Van Dyne. Okay, this is the one that was in the retro release that came with this figure. Kind of the old style one. I do have a hairdo version of her instead of her helmeted head. And for a more modern look, this is a more modern Wasp to go with him. Obviously, you can get a small version of the Wasp, but I actually don't have one except for my Toy Biz one. But I don't have it here, and it can pose, but it doesn't really look like a flight pose so much. So, but yeah, this is with a more modern look. So I really like this figure. He is quite angry looking. He is quite intense. But I'm going to be completely destroying this guy, so I wanted to show you guys a look at him before I try to change him into Ultimo. So hopefully I have some luck with Ultimo. I have no idea how well or how badly it's going to go, but with a little bit of luck, I might be able to make a pretty cool Ultimo for Iron Man villain. And then probably Hasbro will release one after I do that and spend a decade of my life doing it. But anyway, okay. Thank you guys for joining me with this look at Giant Man, or for this look at Giant Man. And I'm sorry it's a long video, but I'm not sure how to do these gigantic figures. It's kind of a weird situation. So I'll try to see you again soon, hopefully with some updates on some of my customs. I need to get to try and to paint more, but I'm so shy about painting because I'm afraid I'm going to ruin what I've done with sculpting. But anyway, okay, thank you guys. F ice and F any Snazis that live near your neck of the woods. Let's keep on chugling. Let's keep on going. Okay, bye guys.